unprecedented year, accelerating critical digital and tech pivots in a new normal. The Malaysia Tech Month 2020 will highlight the nation's digital innovation leadership, establishing Malaysia as the heart of digital ASEAN. With close to 25-year track record leading the ICT and digital economy growth, the Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation, MDEC, is ready to lead the nation to make the digital leap into the fourth industrial revolution. MDEC has a 3-point winning formula, reskilling and upskilling Malaysians to thrive in the next normal and take the opportunities in the fourth industrial revolution, boosting startups, digitalizing SMEs and globalizing scale-ups. Fast-track investments into game, animation, AI, blockchain and more emerging tech sectors. Join us at Malaysia Tech Month 2020 and benefit from the best of Malaysia. Land and expand in Malaysia, heart of digital ASEAN.
A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Kuala Lumpur and Selangor Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry's 36th chapter of the online series today on Smart Automation Grant for SMEs to make the digital leap and increase their digital capabilities. Welcome to our President, Dr. Ramanathan, our ESCO and Council members, and also our live viewers today from Facebook, 𝗕𝗨𝗧𝗢𝗏, as well as in our YouTube, 𝗕𝗨𝗧𝗢𝗏. A warm welcome to everyone who are here today for our wonderful talk, and also our guest of honor today, Mr. Stanley Loh, who is the Digital Solutions Lead of Business Digital Adoption, the Malaysian Digital Economy Corporation, Sdn Bhd, or MDEC. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to welcome everyone here today for our wonderful program and one of the essential programs that KLCK has been embarking on empowerment of SMEs. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Kuala Lumpur and Selangor Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry have been consistently organizing online series during the pandemic period to facilitate and empower businesses to ensure there is a continuity, there is a sustainability during this tough business period to ensure that all the businesses are actually protected, they are actually assisted and facilitated during this period. Well, most of our programs are actually disseminating government initiatives from Penjana to Pemule, as well as other business-related programs that actually assist and facilitates MSMEs to ensure that they are not obsolete during this tough period. So lately, we have collaborated with the MDEC to organize this program today, which is one of the good programs for MSMEs to embark on. And we have a good speaker that we have actually worked with in MDEC. We have been consistently in touch with MDEC to work on this. And we would like to we would like to ensure that the program today gives a lot of benefit to our SMEs, especially those who are looking at automating their businesses. Well, as everyone is well aware, Malaysian Digital Economy Corporation or MDEC ensures Malaysia makes the digital leap in fourth industrial revolution to drive the shared prosperity and firmly establish Malaysia as the heart of digital ASEAN to create a digitally connected or digitally skilled Malaysians, digitally empowered businesses, as well as enhance digital sector investments. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the key pillars of fourth industrial revolution is the business automation. We have various pillars in the fourth industrial revolution. So business automation is very essential simply because a business need to digitally scale up to ensure that they are tech savvy, they are technologically driven, so that they can actually propagate their businesses digitally worldwide, globally, to ensure that the sustainability actually are prevailing comparing to locally concentrated. So without further ado, before we start the session today, I would like to invite our Treasurer General of Kuala Lumpur and Selangor Indian Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Kumaraguru, to give his welcoming speech before we take over to Mr. Stanley Lau to address the program. I would like to give Mr. Kumaraguru a platform to give his welcoming speech to all the live participants here today. Carry on, Mr. Kumaraguru, to you.
Thank you, Mr. Nivas Raghavan, and thank you for inviting me for this event. And very good afternoon to our ESCOs, councils, and KLCK members and visitors, and also our guest of speaker today, Mr. Stanley Lau, who's in charge of the Digital Solution Business Unit from MDEC. As what we know, Selangor Indian Chamber of Commerce is one of the oldest chamber in Malaysia, and we try to help our Indian community, basically our business owners, how to empower their businesses. All right, so we work closely with the MDEC, MIDA, Market, and so on. And we also do a lot of online training program, and this is our 36th series. Well done, Mr. Nivas and the secretary team, doing a very fantastic job. And today's topic is quite interesting topic, how to obtain smart automation grant from MDEC. Yes, and everybody knows currently want to find out how to increase their productivity and increase their profitability with the automation systems. And IR 4.0 definitely will become a solution. And I still remember when younger age, 1990s, computer comes in the picture, whereby people agitated to move from typewriter to computer. And a lot of people lost job. A lot of people can't take the changes. If you can't change your mindset, you will evaporate it from your business. So that similarly now 4.0, and a lot of business owners, they must change our mindset. And I'm involved in technology-oriented business. We do a lot of building automation system as well. Used to be in a building whereby we got 4 or 5 technicians. Now we're only running with 1 technician to manage everything from the iPad or in the phone, whereby to change one bulb or any air condition, or you want to see the temperature, we can see everything in the mapping system. We call mapping. We got a lot of things need to be done. Similarly, F&B industries, some people in F&B, whereby they last time used to be human human hub and missionary hub. Now with IR 4.0, they want to make it fully automated. So, and quite interesting topic. I want to know how to get grant from smart automation grant as well for SMEs for my business. And I would like to share a lot of information later. If anybody want to know about how to automate their business, you can PM me or you can contact our secretary as well. Without further ado, we invite our Stanley Low to present for today's topic. Thank you, Mr. Nivas.
Thank you, Mr. Kumaraguru. Thank you so much for your welcoming speech. Well, I would like to thank Mr. Kumaraguru for his speech, and also as what Mr. Kumaraguru has mentioned just now, ladies and gentlemen, automation is actually taking over the world, where we are actually scaling up our businesses into business automation to ensure that we can actually run it more productively and more efficiently, and also more cost controlly. So, well, I think Mr. Stanley Low has a lot of information to share with us today. I would like to ensure that our live viewers in Facebook and also in YouTube to post your comments, and also we will get the comments addressed by Mr. Stanley Low as and when the program is going on or towards the end of the program. So this SAG or Smart Automation Grant, just keep your questions. What is the program all about? Why is the program all about? For whom is the program all about? And how to apply this program? And what are the criterias? What are the eligibilities? How is the process? What can you apply for? What can't you not apply for? And what you need to ensure that you adapt this to scale up and technologically drive your business forward. So get your questions posted here today, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll get Mr. Stanley Lau to come in and address us into this program and ensure that we can actually get all your answers answered, all your questions answered, by the way. So I think I would like to invite Mr. Stanley Low, the Digital Solutions Lead of Business Digital Adoption of MDEC, or the Malaysian Digital Economy Corporation, Sdn Bhd. Without further ado, let's invite Mr. Stanley Low. Mr. Stanley, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Nivas. Thank you, KL and Selangor Indian Chamber of Commerce, and also thank you to Dato' Ramanandan and Mr. Kumar and also Mr. Nivas. Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So before I start, let me share my deck. I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe at home. Without further ado, let me begin my presentation. I will be sharing two key points. Basically, first, what would be the impact of digitalizations, especially in the current situation, particularly from a business standpoint. And second part, what support probably business could look from a digital and also leverage such initiative, particularly from MDEC, that are already available. For example, in terms of the financial support. So before, just a quick introduction. So MDEC, I think everybody is actually familiar with MDEC. MDEC is known as Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation. Basically, it's a government agency. MDEC, we are mandated to drive the digital economy. We have three key areas that we look at, from the skill development, empowering businesses, and also tech, as well as brick and mortar and also traditional businesses, which I'm working on. And lastly is to bring the foreign direct investment into the country for new job creation and also to spur the economy from the ICT industry in the light of Dell, IBM, Shell, Standard Chartered, and so on. Basically, who we are reporting directly to Ministry of Communications and also Multimedia. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into digitalizations, right, and its impact and benefit, let me summarize on how do you see digitalizations. I think all of us come from a different side and also different perspective at looking at digitalizations. You can look from people or from the government standpoint, but from a business perspective, all of you are basically offering a unique business propositions to your customers that you are competing in different landscape, different environment with other businesses as well. Digitalization is an opportunity for you to increase your competitiveness. Some key benefit that you can actually see from digitalization is an example that you're streaming your current workflow available. Sort of maybe perhaps from a time perspective that you can actually cut down again the processes as one of the major impact, especially for SME. And from digitalizations, there are many methods that you can actually look at on how to reduce costs. One of the good example is on digital marketing, how all of us have been doing it traditional with the distributions of pamphlet and brochure. Today, everything with digital is cost effective. Besides that, digital marketing also gives you the visibility to reach out to more targeted customers. As you can set the parameter in digital marketing, in terms of the demographic of the customers that you wish to target, for example, their spending behavior, age, their location, and also their interests. Another interesting part about digitalizations is actually what we call an opportunity to build a new home of businesses or new revenue model. This is interesting. A lot of people look at digital as just like an enabler. But digitalization is beyond and above that. Digital allows you to create more new opportunities. Now, your business might reach handful of market by going into digital. You can widen your market outreach by embarking into cross-border transactions. As a result, you are tapping into different form of demographic and also customers. Secondly, for example, the F&B industry have seen that people going into your restaurant as the main key driver of your revenue. But with the new normal, especially during this MCO period, this have actually changed the situations completely. People now are leveraging on e-hailing for delivery services to do things before. It's very different compared to previously. So before I actually go off this slide, I would like to clarify that the difference between digitizations and digitalizations, these definitions is always been interchangeable and could be confusing at times. Digitalization is above and beyond that. It is a new way of doing business. It is a new mindset that require what the government is also trying to put in place to support businesses to move forward, especially with the financial support. Later on, I will talk more about the Smart Automations Grant. This slide I would like to share with you. This is one of the digital champion of Smart Automations Grant. So I think Christy Ng, the brand is very familiar to all Malaysians. So Christina business endeavor started with a humble beginning. Due to the financial constraint, her entrepreneurship journey began at the age of 9. When she started selling straw flour made by her mother at Kelana Jaya LRT stations. Today, Christina is actually one of the most sought after shoe designer in the country. As a self-taught entrepreneur and also designer, she began to sell her unique shoe design on Facebook as a way to make some side income and also to pursue a childhood dream. From a brick and mortar businesses, her operation grew bigger, and today, Christina Ng is a multi-channel woman footwear and also handbag company. With retail store in key locations across Klang Valley, she shipped her product worldwide to customers from over 70 different countries across the world. However, just like many other SME, Christina businesses was impacted by the challenges presented during the COVID-19 pandemic. Most of the daily routine was spent on managing the order, and it was time-consuming and also challenging during this COVID-19 pandemic, since everything was done manually. Christina Ng made her debut on the local and also international scene by adopting a digital transformation strategy and shifting the e-commerce platform to an omni-channel platform, which is a fully integrated approach to commerce by providing clients a unified experience across all the channel or touch point. Omni-channel platform goes beyond brick and mortar locations to mobile browsing, online marketing, social media, whereby the client will experience a seamless buying pleasure when they browse through online through a retargeting advertisement. By integrating all of these touch points into a holistic omni-channel approach, this is the only way to fully realize the full potential of each touch point. With the implementation of this omni-channel, this has reduced the man hours to 70% by improving the efficiency of order management and also processing system, and successfully save 50% of their product cost while producing a better shopping experience for their customers. So later on, I will explain to you in detail how she managed to apply for Smart Automations Grant and what are the mechanisms to apply for the Smart Automations Grant. From an MDEC standpoint and also from digital economy standpoint, right? Based on the experience that we have been working with brick and mortar and also traditional businesses, we have drafted a simple SME digital journey. But then again, there is no one way of doing this. This is just a simple guide that you can actually refer to. The first thing that you can actually look at going into digital is to actually have a digital presence. This is as easy as having a simple website or being present on social media such as Facebook or Instagram. And the moment you have some online presence, you have an opportunity to put your brand up there. Secondly, now you have an immediate real-time information in terms of the customers that you can engage immediately once you have actually gone online. This will be the opportunity for you to conduct the online transactions, explore into the e-commerce platform today. When you look at the current situations where this will be a stepping stone for you to get into the digital economy. And now you have done this, you'll be able to see some form of revenue being generated from the online businesses, and moving forward, the next 3 steps makes a lot of sense to you. Now, management inventory may be challenging to you, and this is where you should actually look at the digital solutions that can actually help you to improve your efficiency of the business operation as well as your back-end digital process. After this, if you have experienced and also benefited the advanced technology such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, data analytics will make a lot of sense to you. I'm not saying that the advanced technology you can apply much later. For example, data analytics can be part of your e-commerce where you need the real-time data to understand how do you target your customers. So now I'm zooming in what MDEC have to offer, and you can actually look from these 2 different pillars. First one is the 100 Go Digital, and second one is the SME Digital Accelerators. So for 100 Go Digital, this is where we have a coaching workshop in order to help businesses to level up their digital maturities. So later on, I will describe in detail about this 100 Go Digital coaching. So for SME Digital Accelerators, this is also another structure approach that we have, whereby we need a little bit more commitment from the businesses to attend for the SME Digital Accelerators. So this is actually a 3-month programs, and the businesses will need to attend quite a number of workshops, for example, like business model canvas, design thinking, and so on. And this is the programs that currently MDEC is offering. On top of that, down here, you can actually look at, this is the grant that we offer for businesses to kickstart their digitalizations area. And then secondly is Smart Automations Grant, whereby I will put a lot of focus on the Smart Automations Grant for today. But I just want to quickly run through with you what is the SME Business Digitalizations Grant. Right? This grant was announced during Budget 2020, and I would say it's a good opportunity for businesses to sort of kickstart your digital journey. you would probably wondering where do you start. If your investment is small and you're actually looking for quick wins, this grant is suitable for you. Look at the right-hand side. This grant is led by BSN and supported by 𝗦𝗢𝗡. 𝗦𝗢𝗡 role is to provide digital advisory as well as to identify the list of suitable tech solutions provider. There are 7 key digitalizations at this present moment we are looking at, for example, digital marketing, electronic point of sales, and so on. So these are some of the low-hanging fruit that you can actually look at in terms of where you can start. And this is a matching grant up to 5,000. And you can see that the criteria are pretty much simple. When you look at the criteria, if your operations are 6 months old, you're still even able to take the advantage. This is the link that you can actually access to the website. And this link will direct to 𝗦𝗢𝗡 and also BSN website. You can actually find out more about the process and also a list of technology solution providers that already been vetted by 𝗦𝗢𝗡. Have a conversations with them and get the information and the code, and also you can submit your application directly to the technology solution providers. They will help you to submit it directly to Bank Simpanan Nasional. That will be the first point of contact to help you to submit your application. If you want to follow up in terms of your status update, you can follow up via the technology solution providers rather than you need to go to BSN physically to submit your applications. Okay, so this is the moment that I think everybody is waiting for. This is Smart Automations Grant. Smart Automations Grant, the acronym is SAG. So SAG is for a slightly bigger digitalization project with a bigger investment amount. And also this is an outcome-based achievement grant. That is where SAG is for you to consider. SAG is catered for services company. They are from brick and mortar and also traditional activities to automate their business processes and also to move towards digitalization. This is a 50% matching grant up to 200,000 per company, which is lower. Since SAG is an outcome-based grant, whereby the company must achieve a specific digitalization benefit. Minimum one of the project outcome as listed in the center box here. For example, like increase in revenue, saving in business costs, reduction in process life cycle, and reduce in man hours. And the total project durations for this project is about 4 months. And having said that, the applicant will need to actually submit a business proposal to 𝗦𝗢𝗡 to suggest the number of outcomes that they will able to achieve upon the implementations of the projects. Right? As I mentioned to you, 𝗦𝗢𝗡 have actually relaunched SAG on 26th of August. Due to overwhelming response, we have requested an additional allocation from the government for this year, and this allocation have been approved. And if you want to find out more information about SAG, you can actually go to 𝗦𝗢𝗡.my/SAG. And this SAG matching grant can be only applied via direct applications. So for technology solution provider supporting SAG, it is a SME prerogative to choose the TSP. I would like to clarify that 𝗦𝗢𝗡 is not onboarding any of the technology solution companies. Technology solutions providers, I'm referring to tech companies. However, the TSP or the tech companies must demonstrate to 𝗦𝗢𝗡 with a minimum support in terms of documentations to prove that they have successfully deployed digital solutions to at least 10 enterprises which have achieved at least one of the outcomes that I have mentioned previously in my previous slide. For example, increase of revenue, saving business costs, reduction of process time cycle, and so on. So for local TSP, we are actually looking in terms of their criteria. We want them to have at least minimum of 50% of paid up capital. And priority and also preference is given to the local tech companies instead of the foreign tech companies. We want local tech companies to help the local SME to automate or to digitalize their business processes. In the event that the SME unable to find the suitable local tech companies that are able to meet their project or business digital requirement, the SME can start to scout for the foreign tech companies. For foreign tech companies, this company must be incorporated under the relevant law of the country. Of course, they need to have a paid up capital that are equivalent to at least 50,000. Besides that, the TSP also need to able to demonstrate they have entered into a written contract or commitment arrangement with SME for the development and also implementations of the project under Smart Automations Grant. On top of that, also our grant management team will conduct the financial checking of the tech company as well. So this is the SAG eligible criteria. There are two groups of companies from the services sector can apply for this grant. So the first group of company is general services. So general services, I'm referring to retail, wholesale, food and beverages, tourism, logistics, transportation, education, healthcare, real estate, and also financial services. So this company must able to demonstrate that they have a paid up capital of at least 50,000. The second group of services company, I'm referring to professional services. So professional services consists of legal, accounting, surveying, engineering, architecture, consultation, and also security. For professional services, we allow the following entity, such as enterprise, solo proprietor partnership, and limited liability partnership to apply for the Smart Automations Grant. And from this pointer onwards, so these are the eligible criteria that the two types of companies they need to fulfill. First of all, minimum 51% owned by Malaysians and must be in operation for at least 1 year. And also they are not subjected to any liquidations and also winding up order and have no going concern. And the company shareholder and directors, they need to declare if they have any close business relationship with MDEC directors and also employees. Subsequently, the company directors also need to declare if they are under any litigations or blacklisted by Bank Negara Malaysia, MACC, or Security Commissioner. If the applicants have received any MDEC or government grant before, the applicant must demonstrate the completions of the projects. So this slide will explain to you that the type of application documents that the applicant need to submit to MDEC. First of all, the applicant need to submit the complete SAG application form. As I mentioned, there are two groups of companies from the services sector can apply for SAG. For general services, I'm referring to companies like �𝗔𝗟𝗓𝗏 Berhad. They must incorporated more than a year. In terms of documents, the company must provide, firstly, its company financial statement, copy of their latest audited account, and latest management account. And secondly, a copy of their latest audited account must be certified by the Commissioner of Oath, Company Secretary, and also Company Auditor. Besides that, they need to also submit the Board of Director resolutions on the appointment of the authorized signature, whereby later on when you download the application form, there will be a template for you to fill out. So later on, I will explain to you how to download and so on, the application form, don't worry. The second group of companies, I'm referring to the professional services. This falls under the category of enterprise, solo proprietor, partnership, limited liability partnerships, and so on. For this group of companies, the firm must able to provide at least their tax return and supporting management account when they want to apply for Smart Automations Grant. And moving forward, proof of return contract with the technology partner for the development of the project. So the two types of companies, they need to actually submit all these documentations. And then secondly is also the proof of project completion from the previous grant recipient, and also a secrets report, especially for the top 5 shareholders, and supporting document that are related to the tech companies. For example, like for local tech companies, right? So this is the link for you to actually go to the SSM website, whereby you can actually download the latest SSM search form. And it is recommended for you to download the SSM search form that valid within 2 months from the date of the submissions via the link. Especially for the foreign tech companies, the document or report that are equivalent to SSM report as an evidence that you have a proof of the paid up capital of 50,000. So this slide basically will summarize the overall application journey. So step 1. So now you can actually go to 𝗬𝗏 website and you key in your particulars, and a SAG application download link will pop out. And the download link, you can actually download the SAG application form. In the event that you miss the download link via 𝗬𝗏 website, don't panic. There will be email sent to you directly with the download link. If you still have any inquiries, you still can call 𝗬𝗏 Client Contact Center or email to click@𝗬𝗏.com.my. For step 2, you need to submit the application by the closing deadline via sag@𝗬𝗏.com.my. Please be reminded to download the SAG application form before 17th of September. 17th of September is actually the last day for you to download the application form. Once you download the application form, right, kindly gather all the supporting documents and submit your application before the 25th of September via sag@𝗬𝗏.com.my. If you have any inquiries with regards to your application form and also supporting document, kindly contact or email sag@𝗬𝗏.com.my. Our grant management team will respond to your answer. Step 3. Our grant management unit will conduct the completeness checking of the documents as well as the compliance checking. And step 5, pitching sessions. The applicant will be called for pitching sessions for them to present their proposal to the judges. I will elaborate more in the subsequent slide on the items that the applicant will need to prepare during the pitching sessions. For step 6, the applicant will go through an internal approval process whereby the successful applicant will be notified by 𝗬𝗏. So for pitching session and evaluations, the applicant will be given the liberty whereby the applicants can choose to pitch the proposal on their own or with the support of the tech companies. The pitching sessions will take place about 10 minutes. So, and it will follow up with a Q&A sessions for another 10 minutes. During the pitching sessions, the participants need to present, first of all, the descriptions of your companies, the problem statement, challenges, pain point, and also the opportunity. And subsequently, you need to present your digitalizations need in terms of the solutions to be implemented, scope of the implementations, and you need to have a brief introductions of the tech companies that have been working closely with you for this project. On top of that, also, you need to lay out your project costs and you need to detail down the breakdown of the cost. And you need to also share with us, for example, your project milestones, what you envisions that you plan to achieve out of this project. And lastly is what is the expected outcome and also business impact from this project. So before I end my presentations, just take 1 minute. You can actually take a photo of these slides. If you want to know a bit more about SAG, visit 𝗬𝗏@my.sag. As I mentioned to you, this application is open from 26th of August until 25th of September. And kindly be reminded that the last day for you to download the SAG application form and also to register is actually before 17th of September 2021. So after 17th of September, we will deactivate the download button, whereby you will be unable to download the SAG application form. So with that, I would like to end my presentations. I would like to pass back the control to Mr. Niwas. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Stanley, for the comprehensive explanation on this SAG grant. Well, I believe you have covered most of it, and I think there's some clarification here. I think the first question here is the grant applicable to company with paid up capital 50K? I think yes, you have actually explained this now. It's for 50K paid up capital. However, most startups they may have paid up capital of 50K or 100K depending on their nature of startup. So is startup also allowed to apply, Mr. Stanley, provided that they meet the capital paid up capital amount?
Okay, like for example, the startup companies, right? Because digitalization is something new to them. They want to try out digitalizations, right? So as I mentioned to you, we have another grant that is, we call it SME Business Digitalization Grant, and the quantum is about 5,000. So this grant is actually for those startup companies. They want to try out and they want to get some quick wins. So the SME Business Digitalization Grant is suitable for the startup companies. But for Smart Automations Grant, right, it's actually suitable for companies that have benefited and experienced digitalizations, and now is for them to scale up their digital process, so they can apply for Smart Automations Grant because the quantum is up to 200,000.
Okay, I think the clarification is clear there. So I think the question just now requested by Mr. Kaneshwaran Govindasamy, I believe your questions are answered here. So for a startup, I think you can apply for the SME Digitalization Grant, which KLCK is also embarking on. We are working with few TSPs, technologies service providers, on this, and we conducted a Zoom program initially with a TSP. So please contact the secretariat for further information on this, Mr. Kaneshwaran. Okay, I have one question here, Mr. Stanley. During your presentation, one of the criteria is for the SMEs to actually select the TSPs that qualifies the criteria. For example, they must have actually successfully supported 10 SMEs, right?
Correct.
So in let me go back to the digitalization grant where SMEs are given flexibility to choose from the list of TSPs which is in the MDEC website. Correct? So
Correct.
here, how do we know which TSPs fulfill the criteria? Is there a list by MDEC in this case?
Okay, that's actually a list from our website. So we are actually given two options to the SMEs. So first of all, right, you can choose the technology company within your network. So, but then again, you need to ensure that the TSP, that the tech company that you choose fulfill the criteria that I have mentioned in my presentation just now, because we are actually giving this liberty to the SME to choose. And the second options, there's a list of tech companies in our website. But then again, these tech companies are just limited in 7 digitalizations area. For example, like digital marketing, e-commerce, remote working, and so on. If let's say when you want to apply for this Smart Automations Grant and your project is doing something that out of that 7 digitalization area, that is where we recommend you to choose your own tech companies instead of you going to MDEC website and choose the tech companies that have been listed by MDEC. So for information, the companies that have been listed by MDEC under the 7 digitalization area, definitely they meet our criteria.
So we have to basically go to the website of MDEC and check, right?
Yes, correct.
And but you mentioned that we have to know whether they have actually fulfilled the criteria. But there are a lot of companies there. So how do we actually select that? We have to call and check with them, is it?
So you can actually call them up. You just ask them. You say that, okay, I'm from this company. ABC Sdn Bhd, I would like to embark on this project. So I know you have these capabilities, but then again, there's a requirement from the government stated that in order for you to become a tech company to support my company to digitalize my business operations, first of all, you need to demonstrate that you have successfully implement your solution to at least 10 companies. So how are you going to prove that? First of all, you can actually provide us the completions report that showing that you have successfully implemented these solutions to your clients. Because why we actually so-called impose this criteria, we want to safeguard the interests of the SMEs. So we do not want the SMEs that, when they have a conversation with the tech solutions providers, but then again, the tech solution provider, they don't have the proven track records to help them. So we want to avoid these situations to happen.
Okay, okay. So we understand that very clearly. Thank you, Mr. Stanley, for that explanation. And then we have one question here. Mr. Mark Suresh, I believe he is asking the SAG, is it a matching grant 50% of soft loan up to 200? Well, Mr. Stanley, you can answer this.
This is purely a matching grant. This is not a soft loan.
So basically, it's a grant, Mr.
It's a grant.
Mark Suresh. So correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Stanley. Suppose someone's pitch for something to upscale their business for 300,000 worth of automation services from TSPs. MDEC, based on the criteria and based on the vetting process, would ideally give up to 50%, which is 150,000. Am I right, Mr. Stanley?
Yes, correct.
Ideally,
Yes.
ideally. So basically, it's a matching grant. That is no payback, Mr. Mark Suresh. So I believe that answers your question. The second one is from same person, Mr. Mark Suresh. There's another reported MDEC digital matching grant up to 400,000. Is it another package? I'm not sure.
No, this is not another package. This is also from the Smart Automations grant. So 400,000 is actually an example. Like for example, the total project cost for your digitalization is 400,000, right? So you can claim maximum up to 200,000 from the government.
Okay, so basically, the maximum per company, as I would like to recap, is 200,000 lifetime.
Yes, correct.
And MDEC has launched this program, guys, since 2020, and it is a consistent program as an initiative by government to enroll the smart automation grant to empower the SMEs to automate their businesses as one of the key pillars of the Industry Revolution 4.0 that MDEC is embarking on for the nation. So the other questions, I think, is there any other questions, guys? I believe there's not much questions yet. Okay, probably I have one of the questions here mentioned that there is a pitching session, Mr. Stanley. Suppose that you qualify and then you fulfill the requirements. There is a pitching session where you need to go and pitch to MDEC to say that why you need this much, right? So what are the criteria that MDEC will allow? Let's say our cost to upscale or automate the business costs us 200,000, and the matching grant qualifies us 100,000. Will we get 100,000 or we will get lesser than that, or 50,000 or 60, something like that?
Okay, in term of the money, right? It's actually depend on the proposal from the companies. So back to basic, right? As I mentioned to you, the main objective of this smart automations grant is outcome-based grant. So you need to demonstrate, first of all, increase of revenue, saving in business costs, and reduction in process time cycle. So based on your proposal, if you're able to convince the judges that your proposal with the implementation of the digital solutions able to address all these outcomes, right? I don't foresee any issues for them to, to approve your proposal, and also the amount of the digital solutions that you have actually put forward.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Stanley, on that. There's one question from Miss Dr. Maria Rufina. Just to confirm, I determine what I want to embark on. Then I go to MDEC website and look for the TSP that provides the service. Yes, I think Mr. Stanley.
Okay, let's say for example, you already determine, right, how you want to digitalize your business operations. As I mentioned to you that in our website, the tech companies, they are just actually limited to 7 digitalization areas. So like digital marketing, e-commerce, remote working, and then accounting, HR, payroll. If let's say your digitalization scope is out of that 7 digitalization area, right? So my recommendation is for you to find your tech company within your own network that you are comfortable to work with.
Okay, so the businesses actually decide first what they want to do. They
Correct.
choose the criteria. They choose what are the areas that they want to actually embark on, and then they decide, and then they apply, right? So I think businesses have to take note on that, so that they know where they're heading to. They should have a roadmap on the automation plan, and also digitalization plan of your company's automation and digitalization roadmap, so that you know where you want to go in next 1, 2, 3, or 5 years. We have a question from Mr. Mark Suresh again. Do we attend the pitching session together with our TSPs? And when will be the pitching session held if we send the application by 17?
Okay, with regards to these pitching sessions, right? We give you the flexibility. You can actually attend with your TSP or your tech companies, because we understand that if let's say the business owner attend the pitching sessions, right, the business owner may be well versed in terms of their business operations, but in terms of the technical capabilities, like also in terms of digitalizations, maybe the tech company are the subject matter expert, so they can explain well if there's any technical questions been asked by the judges, right? So if let's say you submit the SAG applications before 17th of September, just bear with us, because our grant management unit team, they need to actually check through, first of all, the completeness and also the compliance in the documents or form that you have actually submitted to MDEC. So I can say that it's going to take estimated about 1 month plus for them to go through. If let's say you are successful, they will actually notify you and call you for the pitching sessions.
Great, great. Thank you, Mr. Stanley, on that. And I just like to recap here that, guys, as what Mr. Stanley said earlier, the closing date is on, if I'm not mistaken, is on 25th of September by
Correct.
this month. And today is 9th. We have just about approximately 16 days or 2 weeks for us to actually embark on this. And I think the next comment is from Mr. Surenan Raj. Are LLP allowed to apply, or must it be Sinan Brahad? I think it was explained just now, the 5 different types of entities. So LLP is definitely allowed, with sole proprietorship, and also enterprise, professional services, companies, all are allowed to apply. So any entities registered in SSN are allowed to apply. Am I right, Mr. Stanley?
Yeah, correct. Like for example, like the accounting firm and also legal firm, right? They actually register with the relevant law in Malaysia, so they also allowed to apply. So accounting firm, they will register with the accounting body, right? So they also can apply for this grant.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Mr. Stanley. Does creating app and creating LMS be considered as automation? Definitely, I believe.
Definitely correct. Yes.
Anything to do with ICT is definitely an automation, because you're digitalizing your business. So, Dr. Maria, I believe that explains to you. And we have a great gentleman here by the name of Mr. Govind Bala, a well-known real estate agent owner. His question is, I am from the real estate agency. Could we have a new approach to digitalize? Do you have any TSP engaged?
Okay, for real estate, right, we actually have a handful of TSP that we have actually worked with, right? So maybe later on I can actually share with you just a handful of TSP we have actually worked with before. So in
Yeah.
terms of real estate, yeah.
Okay, I think just for everybody's information, not only real estate sectors are allowed in this SAG, Smart Automation Grant, but also, as what Mr. Stanley explained earlier, retail, wholesale, food and beverages, tourism, logistics, transportation, education, healthcare, real estate, professional services, and financial services. Even insurance companies, those who run insurance businesses, can also apply for this. And I believe here HMDEC has mentioned in its FAQs that the list of service sectors will be regularly updated. So probably if there is a niche market, niche businesses that needs automation, I believe MDEC would consider that, depending on the approach and also the demand. So
Correct.
let's move on to the next question by Dr. Maria again. How about creating a sales page? Does that come under automation? I believe yes.
That's correct.
Correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, next question from Dr. Maria again. Would you be able to recommend TSPs for training and consultancy services?
You can actually go through our list. Later, I will share with Mr. Nivas, right? So you can actually go through the TSP list. So as far as I'm aware that some of the TSP, I mean, not their core business, but their secondary business, they're also offering training and consultancy services. So you can actually just look at the list later on.
So I think that list will be much more very appreciating. We really appreciate the list, Mr. Stanley, because that will give us an easy way to connect to the right TSPs rather than the SMEs taking time to vet through the right ones, because time is short. We only have 16 days to go.
Correct.
So
Understand.
the next one is, I think, is a long one by Miss 𝗬𝗢𝗔𝗓𝗔𝗡𝗀, just to highlight the challenge she faced. This particular company, which has the expertise or registered with MDEC, refused to meet our requirement but insists that we accept the digital solution they already have. We paid upfront and then applied for the grant. Customization can be done later. Is this how it is done, Mr. Stanley?
Okay, this is a very interesting question and also very good questions, right? First of all, when you select the tech companies, right? Normally the tech company will do a sales pitch to convince you they have actually meet all the requirement. But before you enter any like agreement or contract with the tech companies, right? Just on the safe side, just make sure that you do a due diligence and to check on the tech companies, and you just ask them for some simple documentations to prove that they're able to meet the criteria that have been set by MDEC. Why we are so stringent on the criteria? Because we want to safeguard the SMEs. We don't want after the SME work with the tech companies, right? If anything happens, there's nothing the SME can fall back. So that's our intentions.
Okay. So I believe Mr. Stanley will also provide the TSPs for the real estate agency later. Maybe a list of TSPs and their areas of sectors that they cover, so that our members can actually go through that and get connected. And I believe those who have any questions, please contact us through our WhatsApp and also email addresses to get the list of TSPs that will be provided later for your engagement to apply for the smart automation grant. Okay, is there any other questions before we go to the end of the session? I believe, Mr. Stanley, you have given a very good explanation on this SAG, and I hope that more applications comes in soon. You'll see a peak soon. We have approximately nearly 100 viewers from both our live FB, LinkedIn, and also Facebook. And after the session end, there'll be a lot of viewers again from our recorded versions. So within an hour, we have reached about 1,000 views in our previous session. So Mr. Stanley has also given your email address earlier, and I believe any inquiries, SMEs can also contact Mr. Stanley or contact the chamber. We will connect you to Mr. Stanley. And I would like to also highlight here, there are a lot of things in the market. There are a lot of agents who come to SMEs and tell them they can get them applied for loans with a service fee. Same goes to these grants. So there are a lot of agents out there who goes to SMEs and say that they can help them or facilitate them with a fee to apply for these grants. Do not get cheated, because there's no middleman involved. Application is directly online. And also, if there is any issues, you can contact the chamber. We will facilitate all the SMEs, or you can contact MDEC directly for further clarification on these SAPs. And in the MDEC website, I'm seeing here, there's a frequently asked questions, which actually answers all the 16 questions in the FAQs, answers everything basically. So hope that the awareness amongst SMEs are there to ensure that you do not engage unauthorized third parties to apply for this kind of grants. We have multiple grants today in the market, especially SME Corp grants, and then now SAG grant by MDEC. So directly apply, and even the SME digitalization grants you only contact the TSPs and directly apply. You see, so there's no intermediaries involved. And then there's one questions from Mr. Govind Bala again. My SME grant has been approved for 5K, but I choose not to accept because the TSP could not meet my criteria. Will I be deterred from SAG, Mr. Stanley?
No, no.
No.
So you still can apply for SAG, don't worry.
Yeah. So, Mr. Govind, I think that answers. But I have a question, Mr. Stanley. Suppose SMEs has applied for digitalization grant and obtained the 5K, they definitely could apply for this as well, right?
So as I mentioned during my presentations, right? So once you have actually applied for the SME grant, right? The 5K grant, so you need to make sure that you have documentations to prove that you have completed the project. So once with that documentations, when you apply for Smart Automations grant, right? So you enclose together the documents, and then you definitely will be qualified to apply for SAG.
Okay. And there are some inquiries here directly to us where it asks a question like, can I apply for multiple companies? A director may have 5 different companies. So 5 different entities with 5 different sets of shareholders and directors. So will that be?
Okay. So
Will
for
there be-
example, if let's say there's a group of companies, right? The director need to choose which companies that are well benefited if let's say they so-called automate the business operations. So we just only allow one companies from the group of company to apply for Smart Automations grant.
So you only allow one company.
Correct.
So which means, suppose if I'm in company A and company B, C, D are my different shareholders with me in the shareholding, but they also want to benefit from this SAG, you mean to say after my application, their companies will not be allowed or will be
Yes,
allowed?
correct.
Will
Will
be
not be
allowed.
allowed. Will not be allowed because we just allow one company within the group of companies.
But that is not a group of companies. That is a different entities. It's not under a
Different
holding.
different entity. If let's say you have the common shareholders, right? So we will not allow.
Okay.
We just allow one
If,
company.
if the common shareholders are proven, then I think MDEC will not allow. But if it is a different sets of shareholding and stakes, I think that's not a problem, right?
Correct. Yes, correct.
Yeah. Okay. I believe that actually answers. And okay. Is there any other questions? We can wait for Mr. Stanley to actually answer. We're just waiting for 1 or 2 comments before we could end, Mr. Stanley. Uh, okay. If there is not much question from our SMEs here, our live viewers here, for any further inquiries, I would like to inform our viewers and also the SMEs who are watching this program later to contact our secretariat at our WhatsApp, as well as our inquiry email address, inquiry@klciki.com.my, so that you will be facilitated for any inquiries that you have, so that we can connect you to MDEC directly to apply for this automation grant. And please keep in touch with KLCK. Please like our KLCK page. Please subscribe to our YouTube KLCK Chamber page so that you can regularly view our ongoing online programs that empowering our entrepreneurs and SMEs to actually digitalize, automate, and also bring your business to the next level. So KLCK has been doing a lot of programs to empower SMEs, Malaysian SMEs, to go global, to digitalize and connect globally to enhance your businesses. So, from on every ad hoc basis, we organize programs of government initiatives. We actually disseminate information related to currently POMOLE programs that is embarked by government. So, as an ongoing basis, a lot of initiatives that are rolled out by the government are shared by the chamber. So please keep in touch with us via our Facebook page and also our YouTube page. So I think, Mr. Stanley, any last words from you to the viewers and our SMEs today with regards to SAG?
As I mentioned to you that just keep in mind the deadline, right? So on 17 is one of the crucial deadline. So just make sure you download the application form before 17, and then you make sure that you gather all this supporting document and submit to MDEC at seg@mdec.com.my, right? So that you don't miss this golden opportunity with the financial support that is quite huge in terms of the quantum to digitalize your business operation and also to elevate your business to the next step.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Stanley. Thank you so much. And I believe we have came to the end. And Kuala Lumpur and Selangor Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry would like to thank Mr. Stanley Low, who is the Digital Solutions Lead of Business Digital Adoption of MDEC, to spend his time to explain on this SAG and ensure that our MSMEs apply and automate their business to a greater level. Thank you, Mr. Stanley, and we will end the program now. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Niwas. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. Thank you.
This has been an unprecedented year, accelerating critical digital and tech pivots in a new normal. The Malaysia Tech Month 2020 will highlight the nation's digital innovation leadership, establishing Malaysia as the heart of digital ASEAN. With close to 25-year track record leading the ICT and digital economy growth, the Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation, MDEC, is ready to lead the nation to make the digital leap into the fourth industrial revolution. MDEC has a 3-point winning formula, reskilling and upskilling Malaysians to thrive in the next normal and take the opportunities in the fourth industrial revolution, boosting startups, digitalizing SMEs, and globalizing scale-ups. Fast-track investments into game, animation, AI, blockchain, and more emerging tech sectors. Join us at Malaysia Tech Month 2020 and benefit from the best of Malaysia. Land and expand in Malaysia, heart of digital ASEAN.